Alright, so this is a lesson on mapping skills. Our learning intention, I will learn how to show height on a map and the words that go with that skill. So you'll know some words that go with it. You need to write notes. So start by writing mapping skills, the date, and then you can write some notes on when they're important. What are the words you need to know? The first one, height. When we're talking about mapping skills, height refers to how high the land is, e.g. 58 meters high. Relief is used by geographers to describe the shape of the land. So geographers would say what the relief was, and it would show whether the land was normally quite flat or if it was a very hilly place. Contour lines. They are lines on a map and they join points of equal height. We'll go through that one a bit more in depth later on. So they join parts on a map that are of equal height. And the sea level, the average level of the sea. So the example is 2,000 meters from sea level. That means how high is it from the average level of the sea? How high up are you going? This is an example of a relief map that's here in Albany. So it shows that Albany is not a flat place and that different parts of it are hillier than others. So if we look at this area here, we've got lots of hills going on where we do have some flat areas. Even though I think that might be the man-made stadium, just this part here, it does show where the flatter parts are. And then obviously out here, Browns Bay, Rothesay Bay, Murray's Bay, again quite hilly. Coming through the motorway, we've got some flat bits. In Rosedale, we've got flat bits as well. That could be all the hockey turfs. But you can see from a map, if you didn't know the area, you would be able to see which parts were full of hills and which parts weren't. There are 3 different ways to show height on a map. So the first one is spot heights. You need to write these down. So you've got spot heights. That's where if you've got like shape like this, you've got a spot, and then you write what the height is. It's a spot 50. That looks like 80, doesn't it? Okay. The heights can be plotted on the map, and they are usually shown as a black dot with a number giving the exact height above sea level in meters. They are called spot heights. Okay. The contour lines, this is where we're coming back to here. Contour lines. Contour lines are lines that join places of equal height together. So if that is a contour line, that means anything inside of that ring there is the same height. Again, if we did that, anything of that ring, if you went to any point on that ring, so if you went to this point or this point or this point, they'd all be the same height. Okay, and then we've got layer shading. Layer shading. Same concept. This one you get pretty easily. You're drawing contour lines again, but then each contour line is going to be coloured in like a different shade or a different colour, and then you would have a key, and the key would show you how high it was. So this key for our one that we're drawing just now, it could be green equals 600 meters, it could be blue equals 400 meters, and purple equals 200 meters. Again, write some notes. You should have all 3 of these written down in your book. Right, so why do we need to know how to do this? These are contour lines that you are looking at, and we need to know so that when people are looking at a map, they know what they're looking at, so that they don't see a piece of land and go, oh, that's a great piece of land, I'm going to go have a nice flat walk along there, and then they turn up and they're actually looking at Mount Everest. Okay, so we need to know before we get somewhere what we're actually looking at, and maybe site surveyors, if you were going to build a house somewhere, you would look at a topographical map or a relief map, and you would be able to see what the land looked like. Is it actually a good place for building a new development of houses, or is it not? All right, again, with our contour lines, this rule over here. Lines drawn close together show the highest point of the mountain. So the small bit at the top, in the middle, or the middle-ish, even if it's out to the side, that shows the highest point. Where the lines are closer together, it is steeper. Where the lines are further apart, it's an easier slope. So closer together is the steep part, further apart is the easy part. If we look at this one here, we could pretty much divide the map like that, and that part there is steep, and that part there is, oops, I was writing slope, easy. ignore that. Okay. Okay, so here we're going to learn how to actually draw the height of a mountain. So this is our mountain, and this is us looking at a map. And so people need to know what they're looking at when they look at this map. And if we don't give them some clues, they're going to find it hard to know what to do. So if there was a family and maybe they had a 2-year-old and someone else, like a baby in a pushchair, they would need to know if the mountain was suitable for them to climb up before they drove out to it. Or if you had an experienced hiker, they would want to know that they were getting a challenge out of this rather than just a really quick walk up a hill. So the way we do that is through our contour lines. Okay, so our contour lines go all the way around the mountain. They meet up together. Now the rule with contour lines is that the closer together they are, the steeper the mountain. So if this side was really close, then we would show how steep one side is. So keep drawing these lines in here. You see the shape is going to change, and that's okay because that just shows how the mountain changes as well. Alright, and that last circle, that shows us the very top of the mountain. Now if we go the left side and the right side, okay, or actually what we should be doing is we should be saying north, east, south and west. So if we say the west side and the east side, we can see that the west side is the steeper side because the lines are closer together, where the east side, that's the easier side. So we know if we were going to approach the mountain and we wanted an easier climb, we would be approaching from the east side. And if we wanted a really tough climb, if we loved climbing up rocks and big mountains, then we would come up onto the west side of it. And then right at the top we can see the top of the mountain, and we can see that it's actually no longer bang in the middle of the mountain, but over to the end, which is more realistic. And here we can also put in our different heights. So if we say that down here is 100 meters from sea level, and then over here is 150 meters from sea level, and then right up the top we have 400 meters. Okay, so this side, that climb is what, 250 meters, where this climb is 400 meters up. Right, so quick recap. You need to have definitions that we had on one of the first slides. Definitions. You need to know about the 3 types of mapping of showing height. So of mapping height. And you need to know how to draw contour lines, or how to draw height. Easy.